It's your girl, Nikki Nicole of Divas of the Roundtable podcast. I'm joined here today on the show with my beautiful co-hosts, Spicy Red and Ladybug. On today's show, we have Dr. Shirley Jones. Dr. Shirley Jones' journey in medicine started at a young age. As a middle schooler, she would volunteer at the Children's Hospital and shadow her family physician to learn more about disease and its treatment. Occasionally, she would sneak into the hospital after school to gather as much information as she could from the surgeons there. Dr. Jones earned her Bachelor of Science in Pre-Med Chemistry from Xavier University, Louisiana, and later a Bachelor of Science in Respiratory Therapy from Georgia State University. She attended Meharry Medical College and earned her MD and completed her internship at Tulane University in Medicine and completed her family medicine residency in 2000 from the University of Alabama School of Medicine. Dr. Jones is an avid traveler and has a sense of adventure. Those two traits has led her to practice medicine in many rural, suburban, and urban sites where she has served as medical director, assistant professor, teaching medical students, residents, nurse practitioners, and business owners. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Dr. Shirley Jones.
All right.
Thank you for coming on the show, Dr.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes. So, Dr. Jones, after 25 years of practicing medicine as a licensed and board-certified physician for the hospital systems, what made you decide to open up your own medical facility that's a concierge service and direct primary care medical practice? What made you decide to go on your own lane?
Into my own lane.
Your own lane.
Well, it all started with realizing that our medical system was broken. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is, as physicians working for large organizations, the insurance companies create guidelines for us to treat patients with certain diseases. There are certain medications they want us to have all patients on. If they have, for instance, diabetes, they want them to be on an ACE inhibitor like a lisinopril to help with their kidneys. They want them to be on medicine for their diabetes to help with the numbers to come down, the sugar numbers to come down. Then if they have congestive heart failure. And so what happens is I realize looking at patients individually, personalizing medicine, some people can't take those medicines, or there may be instances where they can't afford those medicines. And so do you prescribe the medication so I look good on paper to the insurance companies and get my bonuses, or do you treat your patient? Right. You know, and so that was the thing, because I went into medicine because I was interested in healing people. And I realized that in medical school, they never taught us to heal anyone. They taught us to prescribe medications for symptoms. Yes. And so that's when I pulled out. I decided I am going to open my own business, a concierge business, a business where people can get medical care from their primary care physician. One-on-one, you're not seeing all these other people. They're not calling in, needing to see their physicians, and they're having to wait 2 weeks when they're sick and coughs and colds. And somebody that they can text, sit down and say, hey, Dr. Jones, what do you think about this? Should I get a COVID shot? Should I get a flu shot? I'm having these issues. I'm hearing all of this. What should I do? And so as I actually start having health problems myself, I noticed that eating meat actually makes diabetes worse, high blood pressure worse. And so I kind of catered my practice to getting people to be plant-based because guidelines are set once again by insurance companies, by the American Academy of Diabetes Association, by hypertension associations. And if you look on their, this is controversial, but if you look on who contributes money to these, it's the milk people. It's the meat people. And so here it is. They're telling us, oh, there's a food pyramid and you're supposed to eat beef, pork, and it's okay to have milk. It's okay to eat all of this stuff, when the studies have shown it's not good in diabetics. And so, you know, there's a disconnect there.
Yeah.
And so with this being a capitalistic country, we are advertised to for how people make money.
Yes.
So we're told to eat breakfast. We're told you got to have bacon, you got to have eggs, you got to drink milk because it's good for your bones. And is that true? Okay, it's not. Okay, and so that's why I created my practice to help, especially our people, because our people are dying.
Yes.
At the turn of the century, the number of people that died from cardiovascular disease was lower than now in 2024. It's 2025 now. But think about all the people you know. You know people that are on having kidney problems. They're on dialysis. You've heard of people dying of heart attacks, strokes, finding their loved ones dead.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just, you know, the food is killing us. And so that's why I decided to invent my practice.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, because that was one of my questions that I said, which, like you said, it may be controversial, but just even using this term, I was like, so when did you discover that you had been lied to, basically, like through the years of, you know, going to medical college? Because like you said, they're drilling this thing into our minds. Even when you mentioned the food pyramid, I'm sitting here as you were speaking, I was like, yes, kids. We're taught the food pyramid as a child.
Yes.
So it's like you're being programmed all of these years, and then you know, you have such passion about something, and then to go to school for all of these years just to come out on the other side and say, wait a minute.
Right.
What was?
So in residency, I actually was training residency in Detroit, Michigan as an OBGYN first, after my year at Tulane as a medical doctor. And I became pregnant and I developed every disease that you can think of during my pregnancy. I became a gestational diabetic on insulin shots. I was taking about 6 insulin shots a day. I became hypertensive. They put me on hypertension medication, and I became eclamptic, where they end up taking my daughter about a month in advance. And after I had her, my daughter got to go home, but I didn't. I stayed in the hospital for another month, and I was on so much medication and it was not even making a dent, you know? And so they end up discharging me after I pretty much made them, because I was like, okay, you know, I'm sick. My blood pressure is out the roof. Don't you think that's because I've had a baby? You sent the baby home and I'm sitting in a dark room and I can't have any visitors.
Right.
Of course, my blood pressure is going to be up. So I was like, okay, I need to go home. So they let me go home. And that's only because I was Dr. Jones and that was the department I was training in. And so I got home. I was back in the hospital in less than 24 hours. And they were talking about taking my kidneys and just craziness. I was on so much medication. And I was like, number one, you're not taking my kidneys, because my family has a very strong cardiovascular problem history. My mom, it was 6 of them, and 3 out of the 6 died of kidney failure. So you were not taking my kidneys. And the other siblings, heart attacks, strokes, diabetes. And so with that being said, I was like, okay, there's something wrong with this picture and I need to find out. I'm smart. I'm just as smart as the doctors that are treating me. Let me read and find out what's going on.
Right.
And then I found out when I took out the red meat from my diet, my blood sugar started to control. I literally was seeing patients and I was on about 10 medications, more than my patients.
More than your patients.
Right.
Wow.
And, I was like, what is going on? So that's when, I'm a Christian. I believe I was called to be a teacher physician, because physician means teacher.
Okay.
And I was called to help people help themselves, health-wise, because it is part of wealth.
Okay.
Okay. And so that's why I did my research, and I was like, okay, the source of cholesterol is animal products. Plants do not have cholesterol. Source of fat, animal products. Plants do not have fat. What are the things? Sugar. Everything else that's processed that we eat. Okay, so all those things are contributing to all the diseases, the high blood pressure, the diabetes, the cholesterol, a lot of other problems. And when I say other problems, it is because as we are stressed out and we eat bad and we eat in, processed foods, it causes an inflammation in our body because our body doesn't know what to do with this processed stuff. And so when your body operates under inflammation, the normal chemical processes cannot take place to help get rid of things. And so it causes problems. And so you get diabetes, you get high risk of cancer, all type of things. And then the environment. So learning all of this made me say, hey, I need to do something different.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, with you like getting new patients in, is it hard for you to convey that over to new patients because we are so trained, I guess, or, taught that our savior, our cure is in this pill, or in this liquid? Is it hard to get those people to kind of broaden their horizon and see what it is that you're telling them and to look at the bigger picture? Or because you run a concierge type of service in medical practice, most people who come to you is already kind of looking at that road or traveling down that road?
Well, most people are not. A lot of people are, we are all hoodwinked, bamboozled, and
food in so many different areas.
In so many different ways.
Right.
So it becomes a paradigm shift. And that's why I figured that I need to be more on social media. And that's why I created my show. And that's why I'm here today. Because the more people I can get out and get the word out to have people just start thinking, if I give you the information, I'm not going to, browbeat you or anything like that. But I feel that if you give people the information, they can make their own decisions and say, is this really what should be going on? Yeah. And that way. So I always have a conversation when someone is interested in my practice, because using insurance, we're not able to talk like that. And so I have to let patients know, when you come to me, you will not be able to use your insurance, because long as I'm participating with insurance, I have to do A, B, C, D, and E. And a lot of that is putting people on medications. I can actually help people come off all those medications if they're willing to be helped. And so that's the thing. With the paradigm shift, are you willing? How important it is to you? How important is your health? Because a lot of people sit down and they make plans. What the Bible say, you write it, make it plain, and then you wait and be active. But a lot of people say, I want to lose weight, or I want to come off medications, but then they go and they eat at Popeyes. But one thing I will tell you, and I give this information to everybody, think about it, because I'm here because I'm trying to help my people. Okay? Why is it that you go down 103rd Street? What do you see on 103rd Street?
Chicken spots, food, restaurants,
exactly.
Everything.
Exactly. When I was practicing on 103rd Street, the patients ran in and told me, Dr. Jones, there's a Krispy Kreme. They're bringing Krispy Kreme down the street. Diabetics. And I'm like, and why are you concerned about that?
Yeah.
You know, but the thing is, here I am preaching and teaching this, and then all of these things are popping up down the street from the practice. Why is it designed like that? Think about it.
Yeah.
Do you see that out at the beach? Can you find a Popeyes at the beach?
I don't know.
Think about it. Can you find a Krispy Kreme out at the beach? Do you find it at St. John's Town Center? Do you find those restaurants in Nocatee?
You definitely won't find a Popeyes. I don't think in Nocatee.
You're right. Because,
So it's just something to think about.
yeah, and I spoke of this on one of our other shows when we were talking. I was saying 2017, I had a life and wellness coach, and I did a reset.
Okay, great.
So she introduced me to quinoa. I had never had it ever in life. Me and her met up at the Y in Riverside.
Okay.
And she was like, don't worry about anything. I got lunch. We're going to have lunch. And her husband was a chef. So he had did this little thing to the quinoa, you know. And I was like, what is this? And she was like, girl, just eat it. She had brought us plates and she spooned it out. And it was so good. So I was like, okay, I'm interested in this.
Right.
So I went, of course, I'm born and raised here on the north side. I went to 3 stores.
You couldn't find it.
Couldn't find it.
In our neighborhoods.
Yes. And I remember sitting in the car at the 3rd store and I called her. And I literally was in tears. I literally had a break. I said, they trying to kill us. I said, I can't find it.
The light went off.
The light went off. And I said, they trying to kill us. And, you know, and then when I talk to people, they go, oh, you know, supply and demand, and people ain't really asking for it. But if people don't know it's there, you know what I mean? Like
exactly.
The same way you have the people in Sam's whipping up stuff.
Right.
Introducing us to things as we're shopping along that we've never heard of.
Exactly.
Have somebody there to introduce these healthy things. But it was not there in 3 stores.
Exactly.
I could not find it.
So I have what kind of questions should you ask your doctor if you're trying this new approach to medicine? What kind of questions should you ask?
So it depends on what is it that you want to do with your life? You know, because in my practice, I ask people, what are their goals in life? Is it your goal is to lose weight because you're trying to do it for a dress? Are you trying to do it because you're so uncomfortable? Because you can't play with your kids or you're walking behind everybody. So we find out what the goals are. And then from that, the questions you should ask your doctors: what should I eat? How do I get to that goal?
Okay.
And if you want to come off your medications, you ask them, what do I need to do to get me off medications?
Gotcha.
Okay. And then if you don't understand, you have to ask your doctor, can you slow down? I know you only have 15 minutes, but maybe we need to come back to another appointment.
Gotcha.
Because a lot of times, and it is just how the medical field is. It's been taking over. I call them bean counters, which people that are it's run by administrators and people that are not medical people, providers. So they don't understand that someone who has 5 diseases and that's 67 or older needs 40 minutes for an appointment.
Yeah, because they get you in.
Because they get you in and get you out because they have to make the money. That's because they're trying to get paid. And so they set the schedule. So a lot of times the physicians want to spend longer, but they get slapped on, they get dinged.
Yeah.
And they get dinged when they don't write certain prescriptions. And so the thing is, you have to realize you always need an advocate for you if you can't be an advocate for yourself, and you need a relationship with your provider.
Okay.
If you're not happy with your provider, you have the right to change.
Yeah.
You know, and so those are things, you need to get a feel for your provider. See if they're advocating for you.
Right.
Or are they just writing scripts and, and that. And then after that, so we talk about, can I get off of medicines? What can I do? And you can say, what are my risk factors for having stroke, heart attacks? Have they looked at your family history? What are my risk factors for breast cancer? You know, have they discussed that with you? Because you're trying to live, let your provider know, I'm trying to live till I get 90, or I want to be walking around. I want to travel, because you can't travel internationally if you can't walk.
Yeah.
Because the United States is the only place that has elevators everywhere. You go to Europe, you're walking up steps, you're walking along, you're climbing mountains, And so if that's something you want to do, let your provider know that. And they should be helping you and teaching you how to get to that point.
Okay.
I have a question.
Okay.
How can holistic approach help with stress management?
So holistic approach help with stress management. So what we mean by holistic is we take the body as a whole. So we are to be balanced. We don't exist as just physical. We don't exist just mental, and we don't exist just spiritual. Okay. And so your body will respond. We as such human beings, we're just wonderfully made. Everything we need, we have in us. Everything we need that's outside of us, the earth provides. That's us that decide that we need to go somewhere to something that is fake, man-made. If you treat your body right, it will heal itself. We have all the processes to do that. Okay. 98% of the diseases and the things we suffer from are because they're self-induced, either by eating, behavior, or whatever. So going back to holistic, you have to balance your mind, your body, and your soul. So people who do well and are healthy have a spiritual base. You got to believe in something. You can't believe you just happen to be here. Okay. Because then when something goes wrong,
what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Who you depend on? Whoever it is that you believe in. Second of all, if your mental state is not good. And a lot of times physical things can cause problems with your mental state. And so that's the holistic, is getting you to see, if I'm in a very stressful situation, say for instance, a bad relationship, you're going to be more likely to eat. Because in our communities, we see food and eating and dinner and gathering is always around food.
Yes.
And in the South, we associate feeling good with the soul food dinner.
Yes.
Eating grandma's mac and cheese, grandma. But the problem is, this food it was slave food. It's not good food. It was passed down in slavery to sustain the slaves because the masters didn't give them any nutritional food. It was given to them so that they can work 20 hours a day. They needed the fat. They needed the animal meat. Most times people didn't feed their slaves meat.
Right.
It was that they got themselves and got the leftover, or the scraps.
Say they were eating that, but they were doing the work to work it
Off.
They wasn't
Exactly.
sitting on the couch,
Exactly.
just, at a computer.
Playing video games.
Just
Right.
another comment I want to say, because I picked this up when you sent me the show with you and Dr. Muhammad.
Yes.
And I made this notation that poor eating habits are inherited, and that will lead to generational poor health.
Poor health.
So,
right.
when people say, oh, well, my grandmama had this or that, but you eating, like you said, grandma.
You eating like your grandmother.
So you're eating like your grandmother.
Right.
So, people got to kind of look at the bigger picture when it comes to that. Yeah,
Exactly.
and it does feel good to be there with your family around the table. And I remember after having my surgery and I couldn't eat, and I was like, how would I socialize with my friends again? Because that's what we did.
That's what you do.
Come in, I come in. We get with some of our other friends. We go eat sushi, or oysters and drinking and this and that. And I was like, I can't do that anymore. How do I socialize with my friends?
Yes.
And I don't think we've been out since then, really. I don't think we've been out with Spody like how we normally used to do our little thing, because it's different for me now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I definitely get that, how that was our time. And even when you mention slavery time, that's when they had their time to come
Their
together
time together,
because
right.
throughout the day they're working. Everybody's
They're
doing
working,
their thing,
right.
you know. So yeah, we have to do better. It's 2025. I plan on doing better.
Yeah, I got to do better. So my question is, people believe that, I guess, holistic medicine doesn't cure like a regular pill that you get or something like that. So how do you get them to see that, okay, if you change your lifestyle, it can cure you just as well or even better than this pill that you're taking every single day?
Well, see, any change begins up here. It doesn't begin by you just wanting to feel better or anything like that. It's a paradigm shift. Your mind has to be open to the change, and you have to see, and you have to believe that you can do it. Because it doesn't matter what I say. I can say this all day long, and you can think that I'm right. If you never make the step to do it, then it's not going to happen.
It's not gonna get
You know, and so the thing is just making the step, you know, opening your mind. Don't be so, and a lot of that has to do with, once again, family, because they don't want to feel like they're alienating their families.
Yeah.
And so what I do in my practice is I work through people with that are willing to change. If patients aren't willing to change, and I know that, I've been practicing for over 25 years. I know pretty much when I talk to people if they're going to change because they make excuses.
Yeah.
You know, oh, well, I can't do that because this. Well, then you're not ready.
Gotcha.
Because any change requires discipline
It's
Yes.
very,
and suffer.
yeah.
Yes.
Think about it, even investing. You can't invest money if you don't have money. So you have to save it
Yeah.
to invest.
To invest.
Which
That's
means
right.
you can't buy the Louis Vuitton. You can't go shopping at St. John Town Center.
That's right.
So we have been, and this goes back to us being bamboozled, and the media leads us to how the media and all these capitalists make money is from emotion.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
If they get you to feel good, they know the average person will do it because everybody wants to feel good.
Everybody wants to feel.
But if you stop and think, is the feeling good? How is that going to help me reach the goal that I'm trying to reach? So let's take Popeyes. Going to Popeyes. Oh, I love this Popeyes. Not me, of course. I'm just giving a scenario. I love this Popeyes, and it's so good. That chicken sandwich that everybody was fighting over is so, so good. So, but if you just stop 5 minutes and think, well, not even 5 minutes, just stop 5 seconds and think, but I said I want to lose weight. Will this sandwich make me lose weight?
Of course not.
Of course not.
Of course not.
And so then that's called discipline. And one thing we don't teach our kids in our communities is discipline and suffer
And sacrifice. Yep.
and sacrifice.
Yes.
We teach them, you know, get what you can get. And this individualist thing, that's not us. We have always been a people that depend on each other,
Each other.
Right.
Yes.
and help each other.
Yeah.
When back in, you know, prior to integration, if somebody didn't have something, everybody
Everybody
You
helps
know.
out.
Then that's right.
And
chip
that's the
in.
problem.
But, you know, and that's the problem. So sometimes if you feel weak and you need somebody, maybe you do need to call your girlfriend that doesn't eat at Popeyes and say, girl, help me.
Right.
You know, help me not go. You know, it's calling my name, you know.
Them prices help me not go
Right. Right.
for some chicken. Let me ask you this. Have you experienced pushback from Western philosophy trained physicians with your new approach to medicine now?
I wouldn't say pushback. They don't say much.
Okay.
They you know, support me, and I see them every so often, like on my pages and things like that. But I don't push myself on people.
Okay.
I give people information,
Gotcha.
and it's up to the person to decide if they want to take the information or not.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes we're like cows, you know, we just like to aim blindlessly. You know, think about a cow farm. They give you they give them something to eat, and they just walk around and eating. And then they lead them to this building, and they don't even know that they lead them to knock them in the head to make the mistake.
Get ready to be slaughtered.
Getting ready to be slaughtered. Chickens the same way. And sometimes as human beings, we choose that path. You know.
We choose to be chickens.
Yeah, we choose to be chickens regardless of the information we have. And it is what it is, you know. And so I've had other colleagues like, I never thought of that, Shirley. And I was like, oh, well, go read it. You know, the information is out there.
Yeah.
You know, actually, they're getting ready. The United States government is getting ready to push out the thing about alcohol causes cancer.
What? Oh.
And that's just interesting to me because they've known it because if you notice, you're seeing a lot of people die of pancreatic cancer, gallbladder cancer, liver cancer. Those cancers used to be really, really rare, but now they're not. You're hearing,
I literally just said the same thing maybe an hour ago, sitting right here. And I said, I remember pancreatic cancer was one of those things you heard about. Maybe a person had an aunt or uncle. It was me. It was one of my coworkers. Her mom had died from pancreatic cancer. And I was like, okay, made a mental note of it. And I kind of knew about it, that it was one of those serious ones that was hard to fight.
Right.
And survival rate was in the tank.
Yeah.
And then Patrick Swayze. And it was like,
about this.
After that, they was just piling on. And it was some years in between me hearing about her mom and Patrick Swayze. Till now, you hear about it all the time.
It's getting too often.
Yeah.
Cancers are getting too often.
Yeah.
And so what's the difference? I mean, that's something, just think about it.
Yeah.
What's the difference? We have more processed food. All our neighborhoods have all type of alcoholic.
Yeah, they put them on every corner.
They put them on
everywhere you
look
up. There is a drive-through.
And these fried chicken and seafood places with this mysterious white powder.
That's the carpet freshener.
I didn't think I saw it.
Carpet freshener. That's what it look like. Carpet freshener.
We were talking about this with my children the other night, and I was like, and my cousin, we was talking about. I'm not going to name the places,
right?
But we were talking about how they put that powder, and my son said he asked the people. And they was like, oh, that's lemon pepper. And I was like, well, I got lemon pepper in my
lemon pepper don't taste like that.
It does not look like that. But see, I've never eaten from those places, so I don't know what it tastes like. But I have 3 family members who love these places. My cousin died in 22. My aunt died 3 months after her. And my uncle just died January 31st will be a year. And when we had my girl cousin's memorial, they ran out of food. And my family members gave me and my cousin some money and told us to go to one of these places and get the chicken. And my uncle had left earlier saying he had somewhere to go. And as me and my cousin was walking in the building, my uncle was coming out from getting some of this mysterious white powdered chicken. And we kind of made a joke about it. But like I said, I had my stomach surgery, so I wasn't eating. I was like, I still didn't taste it. And then when that movie, They Clone Tyrone, came out, I was in California in the hotel, and I had pulled it up on Netflix. And I was like, aha, that's the stuff. I knew it. And I'm just like screaming at the TV, and I'm messaging people back. I was like, that movie telling y'all ain't supposed to be eating that stuff. But I just thought it was, and I still do think it's kind of
mysterious.
One of those.
It is mysterious.
Yeah,
right.
And the movie is telling us in a joking way.
Right.
But they know something
to this.
Right. They know something.
Right.
Yeah. Is there something to this?
Yes.
Because, like I said, 3 of my family members who was highly addicted to this stuff is no longer with us in 2025.
So I have a question for you all. So can you tell me, why is it that we're more advanced in the medical field now in 2025? And more people are dying. Why do you think?
I think because for me, I mentioned it on one of the other shows. I said because the money is in the maintenance, not the cure. And I think that's what it is. It's all about the money, It's all about the money and not the people. We just saw this motorcycle in New York with a Luigi guy. People are getting frustrated. They're getting sick and tired. They're getting sick and tired of suffering. They're getting sick and tired of burying their loved ones. But they have so much faith in that
The medical
industry instead of checking out other options. Like what you provide.
Other options,
and that's the thing. That's why doing this show to me was so important, to show people it's a whole nother approach.
It's another approach.
It's a whole nother approach than besides going and getting put on pills all the time. Like you was talking about diabetes and they prescribe this and that. I know metformin is one of those. Oh, that's the first thing they throw out. Metformin. Metformin. Yes. And like I said, we buried my father. He died from pancreatic cancer, and he had diabetes for years. I could only imagine that maybe that was a thing that happened because of his diabetes and all the medications and the pancreas and all of this stuff is being affected. I don't know, but at the end of the day, sometimes you got to connect the dots and see what the puzzle really is.
Right. And sometimes it's like they give you so much medicine till it's like you really need to stop taking some of these medicines, because some of the medicines counteract against each other. So this medicine is helping you, but then you have heart problems. This medicine is hurting you. And I don't understand sometimes. Well, somebody told me doctors really don't know. They know certain things about the medicines, but the pharmacists are the ones that really know about the medication. Because, for instance, I've been picking up my medicine, and I'll look at it, and the pharmacist will look at it and say, "Hey, aren't you allergic to this?" And I'm, "Yep, I'm allergic to this," and my doctor prescribed this to me.
I must tell you, I have to speak up for physicians. It goes back. They do know. The thing is, they're put in positions where they're only given 15 minutes. And if your nurse checks the person in for 5 of the 15 minutes, you only have 10 minutes to look through someone's chart and go back over there. And can you do that? You can't even do that with your bank account.
No.
And I just think it's unfair. As much as we pay for medical stuff, you should be able to sit down with me and have a 25, 30-minute conversation. Especially, I've been on the phone 10 minutes trying to make this appointment. It's already people in the lobby. And then when I get in, you just, okay, what's wrong? Okay, let me give you this. Bye, I'll see you in 90 days.
Let me ask you something, because I'm thinking about all of this. And I'm thinking about what, as a physician, what is your take on how do we get to this point to where a physician is giving 15 minutes with a patient from a doctor being able to know all of his patients and sometimes travel to the home to take? Is it because of the population boom, people living longer, or people just more?
I think it's still the money. Everything is driven by the money.
Yes, because the medical field has been infiltrated by people who want to make money. Because if you think about, you all are not old enough, but when I started in medicine, there were a lot of private practices. Then I trained in the North, so HMOs came in. HMOs specifically came in to take over our field because they felt doctors are making too much money. So we'll become the middleman. And my thing is, I always say they pimped us out. You do the work and I'll get the money. And then I'm going to give you a salary to get you. I'll buy your practice. I'll give you a salary to get you all excited because, running a business, some days you have good days, some months are bad, but that's part of having your own place. And so, they get us captured and we got all these student loans and they give you money and it's like, oh, your spouses are like, oh, we can go on vacations now and you don't have to worry. You don't have to get anybody backed up. So then they get caught in the lifestyle. And so the lifestyle pushes out, I got to make more money. And the people capitalize on that. And so then there's like, okay, well, if you're seeing 10 patients, you really need to see 20 patients. And if you do that, I'll give you this bonus. But then they make the bonus so, where you really can't figure out what the bonus is, but they give you a little bit, it's like giving you a little bit to feed. And so that's how we got caught up in it. And we have medical societies that are supposed to speak up for us. Some of them do, some of them don't. I'm not going to name any names, but, and so these people infiltrated the medical field because now think about it. When you call to make an appointment, you don't speak to a person. You go to a center because they figure, we can talk to more people if we have this center of people and they decide where to put people. Well, where's the relationship?
Right.
Where's the personalization of it?
Yeah.
You see your provider one day, half the times your provider don't even know who you are.
Yeah.
So there are people that are okay with that type of medicine, but myself and other people that are practicing concierge and direct primary care, we offer to get out of that system and to have a relationship with your provider. When you call my office, you speak to one person. If you become a member, they get my text, they get my phone number, they get my email, and they text me and say, Dr. Jones, I'm coming down with a cold. And if they're really sick, then I go to their homes. If they're not sick and they're at the office, and it's like, I really don't have time to come in, I may meet them at their office. But that's the way medicine should be. It should not be your part. And my patients don't wait in the office because I only see my members. And my members, when they want to be seen, I'm there. And so people can decide. The problem is they don't let people know that there are alternatives. You don't have to take, because some people, that's okay. But then there are other people that need that personalization of medicine. Yes.
That kind of make me mad, because 15 minutes and I done went from paying $40 copay to now $200.
Oh yeah.
For what? To go
Healthcare.
for a doctor visit?
Yeah, $200.
One visit?
Yes, ma'am.
Just to your primary care?
Yes, ma'am.
200
I pay $200 now.
to go for a call? For a call?
200 now copay.
She
I
said
went
for a
from
call.
40
But when you say
40 to
members,
200.
and members only, you only see your, and that's what
Yeah.
I hear that old blues song,
Members only.
tonight.
Yeah, members only. Because because the thing
excellent.
is, what it does when I do members only is because that means you're committed enough that you believe in me to help you get to the next level.
Gotcha.
I don't have time for people who are going to argue with me and don't believe in me. Then go to the person you believe in. Don't let me waste your time.
Okay.
Then I'm just not the person for you. And I'm not the person for everybody. And so, but I want people to know that there are alternatives. There are several doctors all over the United States that practice the same type of medicine I do. There are a lot of direct primary care practice that are private. There are a lot of concierge medicines that are private.
I had never heard of until you told me
Yeah.
that's what you had. And I was like, what? And then I was like, okay, that's different. I had never heard of that. So that's what I'm saying about doing shows like this.
Exactly.
And putting it out, letting people know that this service is available for those who want it.
Right. And you can't use your insurance for all the reasons we talked about. But most of our prices are cheaper than what you pay for insurance.
So I was going to ask you, what are like the prices or the fees? Because some people will be like, well, it's too expensive. A lot of things with prices, if it's too much, I want it, but I don't want to pay that because I don't know if it's going to be worth my money.
Well, that's when you decide what you value.
Gotcha.
Because people don't say anything to
Elon Musk when they buy them Teslas.
and not only that, these cell phone plans.
Yes.
These cell phone plans. People will pay all type of money for these cell phones. Does anybody pay less than $200 for a cell phone plan?
No, I don't.
And who are we calling for $200?
Right.
I can call Dr. Jones.
Yeah. For less than $200. Yes. Right. And so most of the direct primary care practices, for that reason, because we know people are coming out of their pocket, and we don't have to see as many patients. So therefore, it's not, and we don't have to pay all this overhead, all this staff. And so we don't need to charge that high. So most people are under $200 per person.
Okay.
More so, because usually if you have more diseases, then it's a little bit more, not $200 though. It's a little bit more. And if you have less and you're really healthy, there's some programs that are even like $97 a month.
Well, if I give up my T-Mobile to come see you, Dr. Jones, I may be calling you collect now. So accept my call. Don't leave me on the line. I may have to call you collect, girl. I'm going to have to let the line go. I'm have to let T-Mobile go so I can get this body right.
Right.
My whole thing is just, longevity. I just want to be there for my grandkids.
Yes.
I want to see what those little people grow up to become. So that's my whole fight about.
But you want to be active.
Yes, I want to be.
You don't want to see them in a bed.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. I want to be an active
You
grandma.
want to be
I want to
active
be a
grandmother.
participant there at the games and whatever they want to do with their little selves. I want to be there and be in my right mind and in a sound body. Hopefully a snatched body.
And you can do that too.
Sound body. They're watching my grandchildren grow. That's my whole thing now. That's my life's journey.
That's a good one.
And to put out this good information.
Yeah.
Thank
Yes.
you for coming on the
We
show.
definitely
Thank you.
So before we leave, Dr. Jones, please let everyone know how they can get in contact with you. What are your website and your show? Let the people know how they can see you and find you.
Well, my practice is St. John's Direct Primary Care.com, and that's the website. I also have a website, askdrj.info. Also, I have a program that's on Confab Digital TV, which is an Amazon app, and YouTube, Spotify. And just the name of the show is The Healthy You, a conversation with Dr. J.
All right. So there you have it, you guys. That's how you can find Dr. Shirley Jones, also known as Dr. J.
Dr. J.
And, just check her out and see what she has to offer, you guys. And again, as she stated on her podcast, you have to be an advocate for your health. And it's good to have a practitioner that's an advocate for your health, that's looking out for you and not all about the dollars.
Right.
I want to thank y'all for tuning in tonight. And don't forget, if you're on the highways and byways of the good old United States and see that FedEx truck, think of my girl Spicy Red. If you get the call from the school telling you come pick up your bad behind kids because they're cutting up, think of my girl Ladybug. She's been in education for 27 years. And if you think of anything dealing in love, peace, and prosperity, please think of me. Y'all be blessed. Have a good night.
All right.